Welcome back to the Denver Broncos Mile High View. No commercials, no bullshit. And I'm going to give you the real story of what went down at Dove Valley today in the wake of Coach Soundbite Vance Joesph's firing. It's called damage control. You had Joe Ellis, CEO of the Denver Broncos, and John Elway speaking. What is abundantly clear and in the front of anybody who wants to come to Denver, in their mind, is this whole ownership mess. The ownership mess can be contributed to Pat Bowlen, probably on the wishes of his second wife, who he spent the most time with, to have one particular daughter, Brittany, be the next owner, leaving the children of his first marriage in the dust, which would be Bowlen Wallace. I think it's Bethany or Beth Bowlen Wallace. So it's one of these family squabbles. The reporters were talking about ownership. That was like one of the first things in this discussion. Of course, I don't think Joe Ellis personally wants to be in this kind of a situation. I don't think anybody would want to be in this situation. Because, acting as owner, it's because you're really not the owner. So it's just somebody had a wish, and apparently it seems like Pat Bowlen, instead of putting in, I want Brittany Bowlen to be the owner, which probably would upset the kids in his second marriage as well, which is going to happen anyway. I mean, it's because the kid, Beth Bowlen, from the first marriage, and his brother, I believe it's Bill Bowlen, brought the lawsuit up against most likely Bowlen's wife, who I believe is also starting to get some Alzheimer's too. Don't know for sure, but the push is, if you're married and to one person, that person wants you to push their kids forward, but as you as a person, you have to think about your first kids that you had with your first wife. It's a mess. And Pat Bowlen should have put in writing, this is what I want, and they obviously want to put this Brittany sibling in charge at some point. But the problem is that the league says, there's certain criteria. She's not going to make it. Pat Bowlen, should have just sold the team. And quite frankly, Edgar Kaiser, in my opinion, would have been the best situation had the guy not been 100 years old himself. So, Pat Bowlen, you never know when you're going to go, I guess. So it's tough. It's a tough situation. But he should have. Obviously, if Brittany was the one he wanted, he should have just wrote that in, and and then a lot of this wouldn't be happening right now. But the reason I'm talking about this is because they're trying to put damage control over at Dove Valley. You got John Elway. If you go to the Broncos website and listen to John Elway, he clearly states, we can assure that the candidates are coming in. This whole ownership thing is, don't even worry about it. It'll be taken care of so quickly. I mean, come on. It's not going to be taken care of quickly. This is going to be a long, messy process because basically Pat Bowlen was vague, It could be interpreted in many ways. And that's what happens when you're vague and you got to trust, it doesn't even matter really what the trust says. Now, of course, they can sell the team, they got the final say, but it first they have to vet out the kids. They can't sell the team to a third party until they've vetted the kids out. That means all the kids have their say. All of them do. Not just Brittany. They all get a say. So, yeah, it's going to be a long mess. Let's just keep it real here. Come on. And then so you have that going on. And the bottom line is anybody coming to the Broncos is John Elway going to be meddling? Are they going to make Gary Kubiak this is the talk going on sports talk radio. Kerry Kubiak as the offensive coordinator. Then that, who knows, that's for another segment. But right now, the Denver Broncos, they want to try to put on this face that this whole ownership thing isn't a big deal. And it's the 10,000-pound elephant in the room. Of course it's a big deal. And of course, people would rather go to a Green Bay or rather go to a Cleveland than, wonder if they're, anybody that's good, that is, if anybody's good, they're going to want to do things their way. They don't want Elway meddling. They'd like to have the owners hey, I need to function when it comes to game time. I don't need, the GM going through the play-by-play. GMs typically, put rosters together, find players, player personnel, good ones. That's what they do. That's what they hire them for. And, Elway got one right out of many wrong. So, draft picks, that is. Well, we'll have to see. It's not. It's going to affect the way some coach. It's going to affect who they get, and I just don't see any. Well, there's not really even that many quality people out there, and there's 8 teams out there that want somebody, and I don't think the Broncos are that attractive to. You want to throw Harbaugh out. Everybody wants to throw Harbaugh out there. Harbaugh isn't going to go to the Denver Broncos. He'd do everything to get to Green Bay. If as his first choice, this definitely would not be an ideal situation for somebody like that. And if you listen to the press conference, it already sounds like this is, they're looking for yes people. John Elway's delusional, thinking that this is the best of all places, that, if you're, that hardball type coach, this is exactly where you'd want to be. You're an idiot. No, you wouldn't want to be here. It just, I think what you should say instead of being delusional is you'd say, look, we're going to make this, work the best we can for you if you come here. We'll do everything to work with you, to work. That really should be what it is. They want to vet people, and, they really should be putting out the red carpet, saying, hey, we'll be hands off as much as possible. And yet, we'll work with you, we'll make, but quite frankly, there really isn't anybody out there, in my opinion, that they're going to bring in. I just don't see it happening. So anyway, just keeping it real for you.